Let's talk about the 2027 Triumph Tracker 400. It's really easy to talk about big, powerful motorcycles because that's where all the excitement is, right? If you have 150 to 200 horsepower under you on a bike that weighs less than 400 pounds, you just get excited about all the numbers and all the features and benefits of all that extra horsepower that comes along with the purchasing power of something like that. And let's be honest, if you got $20,000 laying around, you can get something from almost any of the big manufacturers that'll really set your shoes on fire. As I've gotten older, and yeah, I gotta admit, I've gotten a little bit older now that I'm 47, I'm starting to find a little bit of joy in going faster on a smaller motorcycle. And so it's given me a little bit of pause to look at things like this little beauty. The 2027 Tracker 400 is back down to the basics. You have a bike that weighs less than 400 pounds, making just under 42 horsepower, and it costs a whopping $6,000 US. Now, the idea that you can get an English marquee for $6,000 is pretty fantastic. And here we are in the really, really cute, well-built 400cc motorcycle that will get anyone anywhere. I'm a 6-foot-ish, 230-ish pound rider who's been riding for, better part of 30 years. As I said earlier, as I've gotten older, I've really sort of fallen deeply in love with the idea of going faster on a smaller motorcycle. And, Triumph and these other brands like KTM and Husky keep bringing out motorcycles in this size to kind of make motorcycling sexy to people who don't want to spend a stupid amount of money. And let's not forget the beginner rider that this thing is pretty much perfect for. And that's really, I guess, the question to ask, who are they aiming at with something like this? Is it someone like me who's got 30 years of experience? Maybe. If I was budget minded, then yes, 100%. This thing being a sub 400cc motorcycle is going to get really, really great gas mileage. It's funny, they actually gave it to me with 2 bars on the gas gauge, and I'm not even worried about it. I think this thing probably gets 70 to 80 miles per gallon if I was to ride it the way I am right now. And that's really kind of the beauty of this. You can ride it and not worry too much about an insane amount of wear and tear, and still have a beautiful bike by a beautiful brand that's got a lot of heritage and history behind it. So what do you get for that? Well, you get a bike with ABS, you get a bike, that's really it. And it doesn't have things like cruise control or quick shift, and it doesn't need it, right? It doesn't have fully adjustable suspension, although I imagine if you were going to be one of those riders that wants to track something like this, being called the Tracker, you can probably talk to one of your favorite suspension modification specialists, and they can probably do a nice little drop-in kit for, from any of the big brands that you're comfortable with for hundreds of dollars. And that's the beauty of a motorcycle in this realm, in that it costs hundreds of dollars to do anything as far as modifications is concerned. So, pretty simple bike, pretty beautiful. It comes in myriad colors. The yellow really caught my eyes, and I'm grateful to Triumph Columbia River for letting me borrow this thing and bop around here in the beautiful Oregon with the beautiful waters. The seating position is super comfortable. I'm very upright. I could probably ride this thing all day. The seat is shockingly comfortable for what it is. The suspension is on the softer side, which I don't mind on imperfect roads like this. And one thing of note is that there's a little bit of engine vibration. Right now I'm at 6th gear, going about 50 miles an hour, and it's not bad. It's honestly almost not noticeable. Earlier on the highway, going about 70 miles an hour. On the highway, well, 65, 70, it's a naked bike. It's not getting tossed around too bad, but it's a naked bike. You're gonna have some wind on you. And I think if you keep it under 70, it's not bad. I'm not really holding on so tightly. The seat's nice and comfortable. The seating position's not bad. I could honestly ride this all day. I could probably do cross country on this. In fact, I think that's what we need to do. We got to figure out a couple of small displacement cross country rides to prove to people this is more than enough, right? A lot of power is a lot of fun, and this is more than enough. So if you want to get into motorcycling, and if you want to start doing cross country and visiting this beautiful landscape, you don't need the biggest, most powerful bike. If you have the experience and the budget for it, then yes, it's fine. And this is great. You'll do the exact same trip, be stuck in the same exact speed limits, and the exact same traffic, and waste less fuel. Oh God, I sound like my father. Ugh. Seriously. Great bike. Oh yeah. 65, 70 miles an hour. How's the vibration? Mostly feeling it in my hands and a little bit in my feet. It's not enough for me to say no to this bike. Honestly, I've ridden far more vibey bikes. Not bad at all. Also, the seat's rock solid and comfortable. Yeah, 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up. I can only do 1. This doesn't have cruise control. Shit, this engine is just real linear and smooth. It's funny, we've gotten so spoiled with high horsepower machinery that if something makes under, 90, 100 horsepower, we're kind of like, meh, whatever. I would urge anyone that is used to the higher horsepower bikes to get on something like this and not have a good time. It's almost like you can get away with murder on this thing because the margin for error is just so big and so healthy and comfortable that you don't really feel like you can make much of a mistake on it. So when you combine $6,000 with sub 400 pounds, fully wet, and 41 horsepower, I don't think you're gonna have a bad time with it. So today we get to ride it in some of the twistier roads east of Portland and go to a really beautiful spot called the Vista House, which I thought, what better way to celebrate a small bike like this. By the way, when I say small, physically, it's not that little. It's not, a miniature motorcycle. It's not like a Honda Grum. This is a proper sized bike. It's got a nice lower seat height, so if you don't have a, super tall inseam, you'd be comfortable with it. The seat's very narrow in the center, so it's not hard to reach the ground with it. When I say little, I just simply mean displacement-wise. Man, what an absolute treasure it is to ride. By the way, if you have a really interesting motorcycle and you want me to ride it and talk about it, I'd be super duper happy. So hit me up in the DMs and bear with me while I go through them, and I will see where you are, especially if you're in the greater Portland area, and we can somehow meet and I can ride one of your cool motorcycles and go talk about it. What a gorgeous day. Can't go wrong with it. Triumph has been in the Bonneville game for a long time, and they're sort of ubiquitous with that classic style motorcycle. And if I was a kid and you hand me a marker and a piece of paper and told me to draw a motorcycle, I would probably draw either a full fairing sport bike or kind of a classic style motorcycle, which happens to look a lot like a Triumph Bonneville. They've been doing this for a long time, and they still have the Bonneville lineup, so it's really neat to see them, dive into the 400cc realm of the Bonneville series. I really love that this is sort of taken off from that. So you've got the Tracker, you've got sort of a Thruxton, and then you have the Scrambler 400 as well. So kind of a different style for everybody. If you like that neoclassic styling, then these are really for you. And I'm really happy to see that just about every manufacturer at this point has something in that sub 500cc segment, so that every rider has an opportunity to sample different manufacturers. Something really cool about riding a Triumph, just unanimous with classy English design, and you feel special whether it's a 400 or a 1200, or hopefully soon we get to ride the big Rocket with its massive 2.3 liter, I believe it's 2.5 liter now, inline 3. Can you imagine? I have a Toyota Tacoma with a 2.4 liter 4-cylinder, and that thing is a 2.53. They're just the biggest cylinders in the world. I feel like they're like that big each. Another thing worth mentioning on this bike is the controls are really, really simple. You basically have a little info button here that'll let you go through various bits on this tiny little menu. You've got your flash/high beam switch, you got your horn, you got your turn signal and cancellation. On the right side you got your on off with the engine on-off switch and your hazard light. And that's it. That's the beauty of something this simple. I can just imagine some of the old school riders being like, well, it's got a lot of electronics, means it's gonna break. Oh man, this thing's simple. Just fire it up, turn it on, you go. And right at 55 miles an hour in 6th gear, you're just humming along. It's smooth, no crazy vibrations, nothing nutty, just an average guy with a nice bike riding to go look at a nice view together. So thanks for joining me. Let's get behind this very slow car and work our way to Vista House, just east of Portland, Oregon. See how these bumps work on this bike's non-adjustable suspension. Ready? And that wasn't bad at all. Zero drama. Not bad, not bad. It kept it composed. Look at that view. Beautiful day in Oregon, riding the back twisty roads on a 400cc motorcycle. What else could you ask for? I guess some good views won't suck. So here we go, let's look at some good views together. Where are we? We're at the Vista House at Crown Point, looking at the beautiful Columbia River Gorge. You look gorgeous. Look at that. Let's turn it off and have a look. There's the view, and then there's the view. 2027 Triumph Tracker 400 in Racer Yellow. She's a beaut, y'all. She rides really well, and I would highly recommend you try it out. If you want something that's smaller, doesn't weigh a whole lot, at 380 pounds, just over, wet, and is thoroughly modern and reliable and easy to live with. That's sort of what we're all looking for as beginner riders or people who've been riding for a long time, and we just want something that's, you know, lower maintenance as far as cost of ownership and having to change tires every 2,000 miles. You'd be hard pressed to do that unless you're tracking this all the time. So what do you think? I give it 2 thumbs up. Pretty great bike for a 400cc bike under $6,000. Check it out. Bye.